नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, केम छो, वनक्कम, कसकाय। शुद्ध देसी रेडियो की तरफ से मैं हूं आपका होस्ट आरजे एंडी। वैसे आप जानते हैं कि शुद्ध देसी रेडियो इज typically into entertainment, but at the same time we do a lot of work on infotainment, getting the right information to you apart from the entertainment part of it. And today we have the privilege to introduce to you one such personality who's done outstanding work, and I think we thought it's our privilege to bring to you all the information and all the work that he's been doing. तो वैसे देखा जाए तो we are originally from India, where there has been so much of developed, so to say, all the science, all the mathematics and all that we used to have in previous years, जैसे कि आर्यभट्ट है, and then we know who basically, at that time we were probably knowing all the positions of the stars, etc. Then we talk about Charak Samhita, which basically talks about, aspects of medicine, etc. And then there was Sushruta, who's known to be the master of surgery. And today, after having all these wealth of knowledge and all that, which was probably in long ago, now we are here in the fastest environment. We are behind fast food, fast life. Pretty much everything is fast here. We want results also fast. So if I take a medicine today, I want the result tomorrow. But that's not how it works. I think, we have to get back to the basics of, where it originates. So rather than focusing on the cure based on the symptoms, why not we get to the root cause of it and where it all begins, which is basically the food that we eat. And that basically has tremendous impact on our health and everything that goes with it. So today, as I mentioned, I have the privilege to introduce to you Dr. Ashok Mehta. Ashok Mehta has been an internal medicine doctor, and he has been practicing here in the Mount Juliet area. And he has, typically a doctor would like a patient to be back to his, practice multiple times, so that, that's how, the profession would be, right? Because I need my clientele back. But I think, he is thought beyond that. He's basically thought of giving you all that information as a patient you should have, and you can be less dependent on him, because now he's talking about, all this fantastic stuff about it. So let me introduce to you Dr. Ashok Mehta. Ashok ji, very warm welcome to you on this Shuddh Desi Radio segment, where we talk about health and bring to our listeners and viewers this important concept about food. And before that, I just wanted to show it to our audience and our viewers, the book that you have come about, which is basically the healing power of food. So we talk about healing power of medicine. No, we are not we are talking with the doctor, but we are talking about healing power of food, not the medicine part. So doctor, thank you and welcome to this segment here. I have one question about you. This is a fabulous book. I have read it myself, so I can tell you for sure there are important points, and then we'll talk about that. So first of all, thank you for being here, and tell us, how did you come about that idea of writing a book? Because, as a doctor, you would like your patients to be here. So why write that book and, make them go away, or, So tell us a little bit about it, sir.
Yes. So the idea of, the medicine has been that as a physician, we were taught that you can treat medicine by medication or pills. So that idea, almost every doctor believed that. And when I started practicing, few years into practice, one day I decided to talk to my patient and gave them a survey, actually. Being a scientist, I always believe that you should have some kind of documentation in the form of paper trail. So I gave them a survey that, okay, what are some of the things you want me to do? And so the result of the survey was that most of the patient, they wanted to be free from disease, and they wanted me to get them off all their medications. So I asked him, I said, why you want to get off this medication? If you don't take medicine, it might affect your health. So Most of them said, "Doc, I do not have good quality of life. I feel sick all the time. I have lots of aches and pains," and so that kind of got me started to think that why this is happening. All these people, they take all these medications which are highly advanced. Billions of dollars have been put into this medication. Why they still feel sick? And for sure, all this patient every year, I noticed that their condition will become worse and worse. So I have not seen anybody getting better. In fact, they were getting worse. So that got me thinking that there got to be something else. So 2006 or 7 was the first time that the human genome was mapped.
Okay.
And I decided to test my DNA because I wanted to know that what my makeup is and what things I'm prone to. So I got my DNA mapped, and the results surprised me, and there were a lot of tendencies I had. I came to know about certain traits which I have, which will make me prone to develop certain diseases as I get older if I don't take care of myself.
Okay.
So that kind of made me start to change the way I do things. And then within a short period of time, I would say about 2009, there was a lot of work being done on the bacteria in your gut.
Okay.
So I started reading about that, and then apparently you started thinking about that you have certain pattern in your DNA. You cannot change that, but what you can change is the gut bacteria. Now, that was a very big question, that how do you change your gut bacteria?
Right.
Do you kill them all and get a new bacteria, or how to go about that?
Right.
So then the more research came out, and they mentioned that there are certain foods you can eat which will give you certain bacteria which are beneficial to you.
Okay.
So we are all born with a trait which are DNA based, and there are certain traits which are environment based, which basically what we eat. And basically we can change the environmental part.
Okay.
And there is interaction between the DNA part and the environment part. Our DNA is constantly changing, and it's changing because of the gut bacteria.
Okay.
So if we are eating the same type of food, and if we develop certain diseases, and if we keep on eating the same type of food, but keep on taking the pills to control certain number, how does that sound going forward? Your condition will get worse over time, because you are not taking care of the fundamental fault in your system.
Right. So basically what you are saying is, with the medicine, I'm trying to cure a certain aspect of it, but not the root cause of it, correct?
That's correct.
But then when we talk about all these gut bacteria, etc., and everyone has come with a basic DNA that they have, and their traits, as you mentioned. Now, whatever food that we eat, you mentioned about bacteria being available, and how that basically helps you make your food either digest well, or that helps your longevity also.
Right.
So what is it that meaning you did your test, but is that something that test can be done commonly by anyone in the market, or is it easily available, or is that only for limited folks? Because if someone can actually go and get that analysis done, and which diseases I'm prone based on my numbers or my genome, I think that would be something that people would be interested.
Yeah, so like I said, this is still a developing science, and because it's a new science and there is a lot of potential to make a lot of money, so a lot of people have jumped into it. Now what is happening is that there are companies which have come out with their own version of gut biome test and DNA test, but they are very, very superficial, and they do not give you all the details you need to know to effectively treat you.
Mm-hmm.
So there are companies which will do your gut biome test and give you a result, but it'll be like 100 pages long, and you would not understand a thing. So so it is important to talk to your doctor, understand what it means. Unfortunately, a lot of doctors themselves are not aware of all this. So this is, and like I said, this is a new thing. This is developing science. Although we call it as a developing science, but it has been there all along.
Okay. All right. And then one more point that I wanted to touch basically is, you said, when you get medicine, it is basically focused on targeting one aspect of it. Let's say if I'm having a headache, I go to market, I get, Advil, that will probably, my headache will be gone. But then if you are talking about some long-term things, right? Like high blood pressure, or there is some sort of arthritis, or maybe something that is to do with my heart condition or something. How can that be improved? It definitely, there is some sort of correlation between what foods we eat, because we all of us know that all these fatty food and all these sugary things, drinks that we have negative impact on it. So tell us a little bit more about that aspect of it, sir.
Yes. So we are also learning that there are certain food which are associated with certain diseases. So in fact, a common example is somebody who's in their late 30s or 40s, and he lived in America for some time, and slowly started to notice that he is gaining weight, number one. I'm giving you just a profile of a person who is actually sick but doesn't know it yet. So that person will feel lack of energy, tiredness. He'll have aches and pains, and he will have no idea why he's hurting all the time. And then you will notice that that person will feel sleepy after eating a meal, which is like on day-to-day basis. Then he will go to sleep but would not feel rested.
Okay.
So you're talking about somebody who is constantly not feeling 100%. And then he will finally go to a doctor that I'm hurting, I'm having all this problem. And sure enough, that person will be tested. And they'll say, oh, your cholesterol is high. And then say, you know what, you should take a medicine to bring down your cholesterol. Now, so far, nobody inquired about your food, your eating habit, your drinking habit, your smoking habit, all of that. They just simply check your number and give you medicine. Now you started taking this medicine, then you go back to the doctor and you tell him that, look, I'm hurting more now, and I'm feeling more tired.
Oh wow, okay. So after taking medicine, instead of feeling a little energetic and all that, you're getting more, slowed down, that kind of stuff.
So and then you will notice that after a couple of years, you'll gain more weight. And then you'll go back to the doctor again, and then they'll say, you know what, your sugar is high now. So then they'll say, you know what, you need some medication to bring your sugar down.
Okay.
So they'll give them that medicine, and keep going back and do your A1C every 3 months, and that's kind of end of it. And after some years, invariably those oral medication will not be able to control your sugar. Then say, oh, you need insulin. So all of that is kind of led you to a path where you should not even be there. Something should have been done long time ago. And there is a condition which most people ignore and do not test or treat.
Okay.
It is called as insulin resistance.
Okay.
So what insulin resistance is, and it's very common, is much more common among people of Indian origin. It is definitely common in other people too, but we as a people coming from a continent where there was a scarcity of the food for thousands of years because of multiple invasions and attacks. And what it did actually to our body, it make us what I call as a thin fat syndrome.
Thin fat syndrome. Okay.
Yes. So if you notice that typically most Indian people are thin built, but they have tummy.
Oh, very much. It's like beer belly.
So what it is actually, this is a copybook picture of somebody with insulin resistance.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so
Very
that person,
interesting point actually.
yes, so that person should immediately be aware of that. That more than likely they have insulin resistance. They just don't know it, and they never been tested for that. Because most doctors don't do this testing in their offices.
Okay.
So it kind of goes on, and you know, finally you're on 20 different medications.
Right. But then you mentioned about, you know, getting tested about insulin resistance, etc., which will basically, you will be able to know what kind of, you know, your body related metrics, so to say, and then you will prescribe some sort of medicine which will cure that part of it. But you are saying that one needs to start this particular thing in their young age. Whatever food that is going into our body, that is what is the important part, because that often gets neglected, right? We are at a party, we are going to eat some pizza, may have, you know, 2 cans of Coke, then we go to different party, we have barbecue chicken and all that, and then that keeps on going every day in, day out, right? Even on daily basis. Even though if I'm taking my lunch box, I'm probably going to take a lot of frozen things which I'm going to heat it up in microwave, and that's what my, you know, daily meal is going to be. But then you are suggesting that the basic food that you put in your mouth or in your tummy, that's what triggers all these different kinds of issues that we have. But then, you know, hindsight 2020, so if I have to look back, like, you know, 20 years ago, if I should have been doing something, I think this is a good warning. I think it's a good lesson for all those young people that are actually watching this. Be aware of what food that you are eating, and I think this is a good suggestion from doctor. I think, you know, you should definitely read this book here for sure. Which is, you know, the healing power of food, and you will probably go through some of these interesting things which we have always been known, but, you know, unless and until someone tells us, we don't realize the importance of it. Correct, yeah. So you talk about, you know, arthritis, right? So arthritis is typically, you know, in people in maybe in 60s, they start feeling that joint pain, etc. But then again, that is related to food. Had we not eaten some of these food that basically cause, you say, some uric acid and all that, maybe if we are a little bit careful about what we eat, I think that is going to help us. So tell us a little bit about all these food related stuff. What should we put in our mouth, and how can that help us going forward?
So I'll start with a very simple you know, statement. So what we put in our mouth and what comes out of our mouth is very, very important. So I say that with a lot of you know, experience and weightage, that be very aware of that, the food you're eating, because most of the time we are eating food which is dead. So I'll give you a simple example. You know, most packaged food or frozen food is dead food. Because what packaging does, you basically strip away all the, you know, nutrient from the food, and you add some preservatives, and then a lot of these preservatives do have a lot of side effect. Plus, you strip away all the nutritional value of the food, and so basically you're eating food, but you're not getting any nutrition. Number 2 is that processing of the food, which is the most worst part of the food in Western society. It destroys all the bacteria, because during processing, the food has to go through very high temperature or very low temperature, which is called as processing, and then they add some chemical to it, which will basically kill all the bacteria. So what we are eating, you know, suppose you eat a frozen broccoli, it's not really a real food. It is basically broccoli devoid of most of the nutrition value.
Okay, so and I may be thinking I'm eating actually, you know, healthy food. It's frozen broccoli is what I'm eating, but that's you're saying it's nutrient-less or less of zero bacteria, so to say.
That's correct. The second part is that most of the food grown in the Western society is food grown for commercial use. So what it does, they grow the food in a very fast pace. So normally, give an example, kale, which is typically used in salad.
Right.
They have done a study and they found that kale, which was used 25 years ago, had 50% more nutritional value than what we eat today. And one of the reasons for that is that particular kale is grown by using a lot of pesticides and chemicals and a lot of additional chemical to make it grow faster. So normally a kale will grow within certain weeks. With this, it will grow in a week.
Oh, okay.
And what it does not have enough time to absorb all the nutrient. And what that does is that you're eating food which does not have enough nutrition for you.
So even though it is green and all that, it doesn't have those many nutrients which could have come. But then again, that's probably so can I go for an organic kale variety? Will that have similar nutrients that the other fast pace would not have?
Organic food do have benefits because the chemicals have not been added, insecticide or pesticide has not been used, so it grows at a slower pace, and of course it is not as big as the artificially grown kale. So and I would say the best way to get your food is a local farmers market.
Okay.
So there you get the food which is freshly taken out from the ground, and they bring it to you, and you take that food and cook whatever you want to do with that. Nature has created ample supply of nutrient-rich food for us, but what we do is we mess it up. We artificially process that food. We create our own version of that food, which obviously we are not very good at it. And then we consume that food, and because of that, we develop diseases. So we basically are responsible for killing ourselves much sooner than
yeah. And these are all after effects of it, right? Meaning diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol. These are after effects of whatever you have been eating for so long. So if someone starts to take notice of that and get into the habit of maybe having some fresh food rather than having packaged or processed food, I think that should definitely help in terms of longevity and not having that painful days or painful nights when you're having all sorts of trouble actually.
So I want my listener or people who are watching me to do a simple experiment on themselves. So for a couple of days, I want you to change your food. Eat, more live food, salads, something which is freshly made, freshly cooked, some of the simple vegetables, which we, people of India make, or if you come from other country, you can, pick some of the vegetable.
Right.
And eat the clean food for a couple of days, no processed food at all.
Okay.
And see how you feel. I can assure you that you're going to feel, number one, your mood will be better. Number two, you will not be tired no more.
Okay.
You will not need 3 cups of coffee to wake up, and you will hurt much less.
Okay.
And this is I have seen in my own personal life, and I have seen in a lot of my patients. They have done this experiment, and they said they feel 100% better.
Okay, so what should be that sweet spot? Meaning, how long before you start feeling that, having that better feeling? Is that like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or
So surprisingly, if you change your food, it will only take you 24 hours to change your gut bacteria.
Wow. Okay. So it's really meaning generally people eat tablet for headache and they start feeling better, and you're saying if you start taking the right nutrient dense food, then you can start feeling it maybe like within 24 hours, because that's how you're growing these gut-friendly bacteria, so to say, and having you a positive impact on the body.
That's correct. So now the medical science is also finding out that, and you probably have seen already, there is so much of anxiety, depression, and mental disorders in the Western society. In fact, if you Google search, what are the number one consumer of SSRI, which are medication used to treat depression, anxiety, and all. So there's some of the countries will come on the top, and some of the countries will come at the bottom, and India is second from the bottom.
Wow.
So SSRI use is very, very, very uncommon in India to this day.
Okay.
And one of the reason for that is our food is highly developed, and it has roots thousands of years ago, when most people were not aware of that, and a lot of people in India have used certain food all their lives. So I'll give you a very simple example: turmeric.
Right.
So turmeric is one of those food which is native to India, and almost all my Indian listener will see something called as masale dani.
Right.
Right? It will have 10, 12 spices in that thing. Now, one may ask that what is the need for all those spices? So spices are micronutrient.
Okay.
They are not necessarily absorbed in the large amount from your gut, but together with certain other spices, they can have monumental effect on the well-being of your body, which include anti-inflammatory property, which we all know, anti-cancer property, which we have known for a long time. I'm pretty sure you can recall that as a kid you used to get hurt. What your nani or dadi used to say, that okay, go and put some haldi on it.
Right. Yes.
And you'll feel better, and sure enough you'll feel better. There is a scientific reason for that, and somebody has written a book about this.
Okay.
So there are some scientists of Indian origin and University of Texas have written a textbook on haldi or turmeric, which is 500 pages long.
Wow, no one is probably going to.
So I have read that book, and I can tell you that there are so many studies they have cited, which conclusively proves that these spices or herbs are beneficial to us. So point being is that all this food has outsized impact, not only on your physical well-being, but mental well-being too.
Okay. And I think you made a very interesting point here, because this everyone probably has that masala thing in their kitchen and all, and haldi definitely is known for its anti-inflammatory, because now you read more about haldi, because when it comes into Western press and when they start talking about it, then we start paying more attention to what is being said. But we have that science, or we have that thing backing us from maybe ages. You probably have seen your nanima or dadima actually having all these different things, as you were talking about haldi lagao, and that used to be anti-inflammatory. Nowadays I think you can go to a local store and you get those turmeric shots also. Again, that's a process thing, so I'm not sure if someone should be going for that, or natural turmeric is probably good. I think natural turmeric is definitely going to be good. So
yes, so the way turmeric works is that it has to be mixed with food, and the best food to mix with turmeric is the black pepper.
Oh, okay.
So if turmeric, if mixed with black pepper, and put into the food, even in a small amount, will affect certain chemical processes in your body, and it will also affect some kind of changes in your DNA.
So once again, this book is called as the healing. The healing
Power
of food, right? So in this book, I think I have read this book, and I have seen so many things that probably my Dadi used to tell me, and these are referenced here. So we have all the knowledge. I think we need someone to tell us, and I think this book is probably going to do that work for you. This is available on Amazon. So if you guys are interested, you should go and take a look at this book. And again, one thing to congratulate Dr. Mehta about this is, coming out from his field of medicine and writing something about food that basically is the building block for our health. That's the most important part. And in this book, I think you have referenced few things about anti-inflammatory. You talked about arthritis. Then you have talked about gut bacteria. This is a good book to learn about how food can have a positive impact on someone's health. So as part of that, once again, congratulations to you. And I want to know something about something that is mentioned in the book. So you talk about DNA Diet Club about that.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about that also.
So DNA Diet Club is a company I founded. It's probably six years ago, and originally I was just doing the DNA test and customizing the food according to the DNA test, and later on we have added the gut bacteria test.
Okay.
So now what we do is we have the DNA test, we have the gut bacteria test. And what we do is we run both of these tests using the artificial intelligence based programs, algorithm, and then we create a diet or recipes for you. And we have put all those recipes in an app which is customized for you.
Okay.
So whatever food is good for you, it is customized with your recipe, with the cooking instructions, and your grocery list included within the app.
Wow. Okay.
So all of that is all part of DNA Diet Club, and we are adding more things, and we have like I said, developed this program. We have close to 400 plus patients who have used this program successfully.
Okay.
Our success rate is close to 77%.
Wow. Okay.
So it is something which we are slowly working on.
Okay, so how do I, find out about DNA Diet Club? If I have to join, or someone actually who's listening, if they have to join, is that an app, or do they go somewhere, and is that a paid membership? Or just tell us a little bit
So
more.
DNA Diet Club, I have a website, the dnadietclub.com. I have another website, which is our main website, which is simplyk.net.
Okay.
So you can go to either one of those websites and learn about how to get this test done. You will have to come to the office, and we can do those tests. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks for the test to come back.
Okay.
And then we'll sit down with you and we'll customize your food.
Okay. So basically, doing the test will get you insight about individual's body composition, whatever bacteria is missing, etc., and how you can basically cater to a more personalized food options for them that will keep the medicines away, but good health with them. Right?
Yes, that's correct. So our goal is to get you off of medicine and actually improve your health to a level where you actually feel good every single day. And it is entirely possible. A lot of people will think that this is probably hyperbole, and how do we know, and can we do it? One thing we must understand, that the processed food is highly addictive, and it's up to you to understand that you're eating something which is highly addictive. And this is why probably most people who eat certain food, they'll keep on eating because they're addicted to it.
Right.
It's very important to understand that you have to de-addict yourself, go into path of eating the correct food, so you never have to take medication again, and you always feel good you don't have to drink 3 cups of coffee to wake up.
Well, fantastic. Dr. Mehta, thank you very much for this. I am so much interested in learning more, but I think we have time at our hands, so we're just looking at that. I think, definitely we would like to learn more on certain things that you have mentioned in the book. We just wanted to give a quick teaser to all our listeners and viewers out there. Just go on Amazon, look at this book.
Lulu and Amazon.
On Lulu also? Okay. And then in addition to that, as he said, on the DNA Diet Club, if you go to dnadietclub.com, you'll probably find more information. And I think, take that step in the right direction, rather than being lethargic, being, tired all the time. Maybe we can do that stuff right now. And for all those youngsters out there, I think this is probably the best thing that you can do right now. So once again, thank you, Dr. Mehta, for this. And thank you once again for this book. I have definitely read this, and I really recommend very, very genuinely read this book and get all the help and stay away from all those medicines later on. This is a doctor telling you about, getting your foods right, and don't see the doctor. So apple a day keeps doctor away.
That's correct. Yep.
And